Hello, welcome back to Tony Dock Station. I also want to apologise for the delay in this video coming out. I'm really busy at work at the moment, got a lot going on, and I'm also having a bit of a modeller's dilemma with what I'm doing up here. I'll come back to that in a minute, but the first thing I want to go through is show you the two new models that I got, which I haven't yet been able to show you through. So the one directly in front of you is the Rail Freight 37506, which is by Bachmann and is pre-weathered, lightly weathered. And I'll just show you, it's got running lights and it also has cabin lights as well, which is quite a nice little touch. And you might be able to see that there is a driver in there as well. I don't know if you can see that very well. But it's a nice model that I bought from eBay, so pre-owned, but in very good condition. And there's the running lights on the other side. If we change direction, here we see those, and the cabin lights in there as well. So that's that, and that is I haven't really set the decoder up properly, so it's low speed is still quite, sorry, I'm just looking at the points at the same time, is quite fast. I need to sort out the decoder. But also attached to that, I've got the two rail freight wagons, which are again pre-weathered, and on the back of that as well, I've got the Royal Mail letters van, which is heavily weathered. That's a Mark 1 coach as well. I'm not sure if it's a typical rake, but it's what I sort of wanted, and it's probably just about the right length for that siding. It might be a little too long for that gap there. So if I in a minute I'll bring the 47 closer and have a look at that gap. So this is the 47, and this is speed step 1, which is nice and slow, which I quite like, and that's obviously got forward running lights as well and cabin lights, again with a little driver in there, which you can see. So I'll just bring that forward a bit, and hopefully we will avoid a collision. I'm just bringing this in slowly just because I haven't yet tested how close this gets, and look at that, loads of room to spare on that. So that's pretty much the right length for the rail freight loco, so that's going to be ideal if I do use that typical carriage there. And then on the back of the 47, which I'll go through in a minute, I've got that free wagon there, and the two blue and yellow wagons as well, box fans, which again are all pre-weathered, including 47, that's factory weathered, and that was brand new, that one. So I'll just bring that forward a bit more and we'll have a closer look at that. So this is the 47 in BR blue, again as you can see pre-weathered, and it is an absolutely lovely loco. It's probably my favourite runner at the moment, and I'm going to talk through some of the problems I'm having with some of my other stock, but especially with the lighting and that on it as well. I mean, for me, it's got quite bright front running lights, which I'm not sure necessarily prototypical when you compare it to the running lights of the 37, the two ambers on the top, and you've got the one bright white LED. I prefer the amber look, sort of more typical than the typical bright white LED, but I'm happy with it regardless. So that's probably a nice little runner for me, and I've had a bit of fun running that around. That is all properly running, so I'll just drop that back a bit. And I'll show you 37, what I mean with its compared to that to the speed step 1 of the 47, this is speed step 1 of the 37. Yeah, helps if I change the point, doesn't it? Shouldn't do this, but I'm going to. So this is speed step 1 of the 37, which, as you can see, is quite fast for speed step 1, so I do need to go through the decoder and sort that out. And speed step 1 in the other direction. So again, it's pretty fast for speed step 1. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is my class 50, and I didn't even realise it was a pure accident that I found out it's got running lights. I should have known that, but I just didn't even think to check it, to be honest. So it's quite a nice little surprise I found for that. On a separate note, I'm having a bit of a problem with this loco and it's running, and I think it's track specific, which I'm gonna go through in a minute. So if I just pick the camera up, I'm going to run this round at a sort of decent speed, and you'll see what I mean. It's got almost like a stutter. So if I bring this up to speed, I don't know if you saw that, it sort of stutters. I'm just going to take that in reverse, see if it does the same thing. And it doesn't, it seems to be one running direction. So I'll bring it forward again this way. And then going backwards, we shouldn't see the problem replicate. So I'm a bit confused as to why it's doing that. I've been through it and checked the I've had this. I thought it might have just needed sort of more running in. I mean, when I bought it, it was pre-running anyway, but I ran it in the direction it was causing me problems with for about a good hour and a half, and lubricated it, and thought it might have just been a little bit juddery, but it doesn't seem to have solved the problem. So for me, I'm not sure what to do with that. If anyone's got any ideas, I'd be grateful for that. The other thing you would have noticed is that all the baseboards have been painted brown, and the exact colour I've used is burnt umber by just a fairly semi-cheap paint. And the reason I've done that is obviously now I'm getting close to starting doing the scenery. I wanted just a pure earth tone as opposed to the baseboard, which was sort of like almost like a red tinge to it. so that if there's any parts that need sorting out, that sort of where there's thin scenery in it, a bit comes through, you've got sort of like an earthy colour. See, I've only done one coat for now. I probably am going to do a second coat, especially sort of in the main focal areas that are near the front. Definitely have a second coat, but it is literally just to have an undercoat really. So that's one other thing you've noticed. And lastly, I purchased one of these, which if you're in the Facebook Model Railway group, you would have seen me post a video about this. Just the one of the locos putting this round. This was brand new from eBay, but like brand new condition, still sealed when I got it and everything. And just stuck a decoder in it, because you can run it DC or DCC, but it just needs the decoder if you run it on the DCC track. These are a bit temperamental and fiddly, but they are very good. And I thought I haven't really given, other than a track rubber, since I've laid all this track, it hasn't had a good clean. So I thought this is heavy duty, it will do the job quite well. And it does surprise you how much the vacuum picks up that you can't even see. And to an extent, I've sort of noticed this earlier, it obviously blows all the crap out to the side as well. So just all this like debris here, it picks up everything on the track, and anything else it doesn't suck up, it gets blown out. So there's stuff there you don't even need. I just need to go over with like a little handheld vacuum and pick all that up. But the actual track itself is a lot cleaner. And even at this point here where I did some dodgy soldering, if you actually look at the top of the track, it's a lot cleaner. It does polish and sand and grind and vacuum up very well, and they're not cheap. Like, it's between sort of 50 and 70 quid depending where you buy them from, but in my opinion I think it is worth it to do like the one big major clean, and then you just do light servicing every now and then on top of it. Yeah, so it is a bit temperamental. I found that with the sort of the grinding and polishing discs, that you'd get going and then sometimes the disc would stop. But the vacuum seems to be quite constant. I don't know if it was maybe I had the pressure too far down, so it's pressing too hard on the track, but then it would sort of kick in again afterwards. So, but it did go, and I just used standard track cleaning fluid. There's all different ones. I'm not going to recommend a particular one, but there's lots of good ones out there. And then the other thing I've done as well is on all the locos, even the brand new ones, flip them over, give the wheels a good polishing, put some lubricating oil in all the gears, and got them all sort of up and running. And that was, even with the problems I'm having with the Class 50, I've done all that, and I was obviously still having those problems, because I thought it might have been just needed a bit of a clean or something, but its wheels are shiny and polished and very, very good contacts, and the track is very, very good as well. And as you can see, it's running very well in the other direction. So yeah, and what I do for those is I've just got like this, I think it's from Pico, just you stick the logo in there, and then you get these things. So you've got like a wire brush sort of here, and then like a scraper for your positive and your negative. I've just attached that to the track, and then just put the loco, so it's a Class 50, just put it at speed, and then obviously you put it in there, and then when you make the contact it will build up the speed, and then you put these on the wheels, and then as the wheels rotate you clean it, and you can probably see it picks up quite a bit of dirt and grime. And then I've got some of the Track Magic, just go over the wheels with a brush on that as well, just to get up any other bits of grime and dirt. And that seems to have made these all very, very nice. Okay, so I know you're looking at the top of an open box at the moment, but all will become clear. Now, as I said at the beginning of the video, I'm having a bit of a modeller's block at the moment. I'm not really content with my DCC system. And some of you may remember, if you watched my previous videos, that I was having decoder programming problems. Weirdly, that seems to have rectified itself, and I'm not sure what I did, but especially when I got the new locos with the 21 pins and some of them with the new 8 pins, I've been able to program advanced decoder functions that I wasn't able to do before. And I thought, oh well, maybe it was just me being a bit silly before, and the decoders that I had in didn't those CVs didn't exist in them. So then I thought, all right, I'll stick them on the track and see what happens. And lo and behold, I was able to program some of my older decoders with CVs I couldn't before. So I'm not sure what I did, but I'm just going to call it the hand of God. Managed to fix that one. So although there's no problems with the DCC system, and especially even with its running, it works fine. Even my wiring, I've got no problems. I've got continuity everywhere, and I've got good track. There's not any weak points, although the input for the power is here and it joins under the track here. This is where the DCC bus starts and then it sort of ends and terminates over there. So that's the point that's technically furthest away. I've still got good power over there, and when I run the little DCC tester that I had before, which I've showed in a previous video, I've got very good continuity over there, and run a multimeter over it. I'm still getting 18 volts or thereabouts, sort of between 16 and 18. So I know that I don't need a booster or anything like that, so there's no problems with my DCC controller. However, with what I want to do, running multiple trains at the same time and changing and stuff, I'm looking more towards PC control, and especially with the signals. I had some switch pilots, ESU switch pilots, which I'll just grab. I had a couple of ESU switch pilots, 2 of those, and they work fine, but there is a problem with these and using signals. Now, most signals will either have a common anode or a common cathode, and that's basically a posh way of saying common positive or common negative. These, you cannot change their output. I can't remember which way around it is, but they're the opposite way to most signals, because they are, as they said, designed for changing points, which is fair enough. Now, they're bringing out a adapter in the second quarter of this year, which you can plug in, and it will change the polarity. And I think from looking at their website, it's going to be about 10 to 15 euros for 2. So for 2 point decoders, i.e. 8 channels, you only need to buy 1 set of adapters. So for 10 to 15 euros, you can change up to 8 points, which is a fair deal. I think it's not that bad in price, but I'm not looking at going down this route anymore. So I'm going to be selling my Dynamis Ultima with these 2 point decoders, and I'm not going to try and flog it on here because that's not what this is about, but they are going to be going, and I'm going to be changing my DCC system. Whether it's going to be in the next week or the next month or 2 months, I'm not sure, but they definitely are going to be changed down. I'm going to go to PC control. Now, I'm going to give a bit of a sort of shout out and a mention to Derek Jones from DJ Model Railway here, because I've been bothering him quite a bit through Facebook on the group, and asking his opinion, because he's a bit of a his videos worked, his early videos on train controller and his digital system with Digitrax. So I've been asking his opinion on sort of things to do there, and I am contemplating the Digitrax route with block detection and signals and points. Now, obviously, I've just spent a lot of time, and not a lot of money, but a lot of time, and certainly a lot of emotion has gone into building these, and they work fine. And so for now, I'm going to keep using them, but eventually I will get rid of it and go to point control via a digital PC system. But that is obviously going to be sort of a big conversion, because I've got to now break all the track up into blocks, and not necessarily rewire, but I've certainly got to adapt the wiring and maybe do a little bit of re-soldering depending on where I put the blocks, but it's not a big problem. The track's already down. I might have to, you know, cut a few rails just to make some breaks in the rails, but it's not as a daunting task as I thought it might have been. But my thoughts are between two systems at the moment, which is either the Digitrack system or a company called DigiKey. I can't remember if that's how you pronounce it properly, but I'm doing a bit more research. Now obviously, because these point decoders, going back to my original point, don't change the signals because they don't do the right outputs, I looked at a new signalling decoder system, and that's where this box comes into play. So I managed to find, through a bit of research, a decent sort of decoder system that I was happy with, and that would be quite future-proof for any sort of system that I use. And it is a company called LDT. I don't know if you can see this. Let's just try and pronounce it. Litvinsky Daten Technik. That's obviously with an English accent, but this is a German company or a Dutch company from what I believe, and they are specific light signal decoders. So you can, from what I recall, control up to different combinations depending on what aspects you use. So for it says here you can do up to 2 to 4 aspects of British Railway, and up to 2 to 4 with feathers as well. I'm trying to read the translations. Now these systems were second hand, but they are very, very good. So they're DCC bus powered, so your bus comes in and it's a normal accessory decoder, and this sort of just is a protective cover that covers the electronics, and there's different chips depending on what type of system you're using. So obviously I've gone for BR for British Rail, and that will sort of have built in the British Rail sort of behaviours. So I've got a few of those, and they're going to be a bit of an upcoming project, which I'll do a more detailed video on at another point. But then they're going to be compatible with any sort of PC control system I go for, which is why I went for them. And it was partly these that made my decision to go for a PC control system, because I was just going to be quite happy and content with the Dynamis Ultima and the rail controller system that Bachmann do. But then I was sort of looking at, you know, is it really going to be able to do what I want to do? And then it's not going to be sort of necessarily compatible. Well, it will be compatible with these, but because they're just a standard decoder. But then I thought, you know, if I'm going down that route and I want to be controlling these, you know, then I want the points to be controlled, really, and then I want the trains to be controlled. So then it just sort of made sense that I can keep butchering and adapting my current system, or I can just go for a system that's going to be a lot more designed for that in the first place and cause me less problems in the future. So I've just wanted to add this little bolt on just to show a little bit more about these light DCC decoders. So as you can see, I've got the decoder itself here, and then I'm using Traintronic signals just to give this a go for now. And they come with like a little converter board, and then this is just a 2-aspect red and green. And what I've done just to test it is just set it up as accessory 1, and I've followed all the instructions to program it up. But if I just quickly show you the change, so I'll just I'll do it. You might not reach the signal because this is infrared, but it does change. So you can see in the background there, just by changing the point, it changes the signals. And what I think is quite a nice touch is, and I think this is the decoder that does this. I could be wrong, but I think it's decoder. But if you watch the change, it's a nice fade up, fade in, and then down to the red. It's almost just like a little bit slower. Fade up to the red, and I'm pretty sure that is the BR chip. So you can see like it's just straight to green quite quickly, but then just that nice off and then fade up to red, and I'm pretty sure that is what the decoder is doing. And obviously that, as I said, works with this controller, so I know there's no problems per se using the Dynamis, and certainly if I don't go to PC control straight away and I do use rail controller for a bit, I know that I can at least program my signals, and get them operating quite nicely. So yeah, I just wanted to quickly show that one little video, yeah, I think it's going to be quite a good little touch in the future. So I know I've done a lot of talking this video, but it's more sounding out what I'm going to be doing. So I am going to be starting and continuing with the scenery on the top board, so you will still be seeing some progress being made, because it's not necessarily going to change what I'm doing on top of the board. It's only underneath of the board that's really going to be being changed. Excuse me. So I will still be able to keep making progress, and the plans for the top of the board haven't changed, but underneath the board we're probably going to be seeing a bit more interesting bits coming up. So I'm still in the process of deciding exactly which route I'm going to go down and exactly which products I'm going to be using, because I've got so many options out there, and there's also the debate between train controller, and with even deciding that, you then need to decide what version you want: bronze, silver, gold. There's other systems out there like iTrain, and then again what system version of that I want and what capabilities that has compared to what I need. So I've still got a lot of final decision making to do. I'm pretty sure I have made up my mind, but at the time of filming this, there's still possibly a few open-ended questions which I need to sort out. So although you haven't seen too much change in terms of what you can actually see with your eyes since the last update, there has been a lot of changes to what's going to be happening in my thoughts process, and what I'm going to be doing with that. So I've already just looking at the clip length of this video alone, all the other ones I've done, so I will leave the video here rather than boring you to tears a bit more. But I would really appreciate if you chuck your thoughts and comments in the video below, because I definitely would like some feedback on sort of what I've been talking about so far. But yeah, so again, as I mentioned earlier, big shout out to Derek Jones, because he has put up with me bothering him, and he's come up with quite a few good ideas and suggestions, and certainly a few things that I haven't even mentioned in this video that we've been talking about possible other plans. So definitely go and check him out, and his videos on his digital system if you're interested in that, although he's not finished his digital system. From what I've been led to believe, he's definitely got some good ideas coming up, so it's definitely worth going over and checking that out and being subscribed to see what he's got coming up in the future. And if you are interested in train controller or other computer control systems, there's another channel which I'm sure you've all probably already heard of, and which Derek over at DJ Model Railway has also mentioned before in his videos, is Rudy's channel, which you'll find a link for here. And he goes through in incredible detail train controller, and also he talks through not just other things around his layout. He goes through like a lot of Arduino stuff. He even touches on iTrain and JMRI, and it's just a goldmine of information. And I'm surprised he hasn't got more subscribers than he already has. He's got a lot, but definitely I thought it'd be a lot more. But definitely go and check out his channel if you're interested in that sort of thing, because that's what I'm sort of researching at the moment. So yeah, I'm still waffling, so I am going to end the video here, but thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned, because there is going to be a lot of progress coming up, and a lot of potentially big changes coming up as well. So yeah, I do really appreciate your support, and I've noticed I've had a bit of an influx of new subscribers as well, so I do really appreciate all of you guys sort of jumping on board this journey with me as well. So yeah, thank you very much, and I will see you next time.